Okay, in today's class, I am going to explain a project in Python. Already we have discussed in the previous class. So how to create a GUI based calculator. Okay, GUI based calculator. This is the code in the previous class I have written. So I told you that these classes are being conducted under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, 3 days of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, under my Lakshmi Narayana Narayan Krishna Foundation. So Lakshmi Narayana Krishna Foundation, 3 days of a week. Okay. Every 3 days of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. At 8 p.m. sharply, 0800 p.m. Okay. So Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, 3 days of a week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 8 p.m. in Zoom. Okay. Zoom link already I have shared. So today in the previous class also, this code I have written to create a calculator, GUI based calculator. So the GUI based calculator result looks like this. What you know? The GUI based calculator. This is the GUI based calculator. Okay. So whenever the code, whenever the code, whenever the code will be run, so result would be like this. Okay. This is the entry field. If you want to write any expression, okay, like what support 8 plus 3 into 2 is equal to. This is the answer you are getting. So this is called your entry field. Entry field, what you want to enter somewhat expressions, any expressions. So this calculator, simple calculator, which will be used for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So this is equal to will be used to get the result, and C will be used to clear the entry field. Any expression is here, any result is here, that will be deleted. Okay. This is called entry field to enter your whatever you want to do. Addition, you want, whether you want to do any addition, subtraction, multiplication. Suppose if you want to do somewhat multiplication, 4 into multiplication, 5. Here, this star symbol will be used for multiplication. Okay. Again, star means 6. So you want to multiply 4 multiply by 5 multiplied by 6. So what will be the result? If you want to get the result, this is what is equal to 120. So this is the result. Okay. So like this is the entry field. If you want to clear, you need to click on C. These all are called buttons. 0, 1, 4, 7, 8, 5, 2. These are all 9. Even though this is 0, but is equal button, this is dot button. If you want to keep, if you want to enter any, like what your floating point numbers. Floating point numbers are what? Suppose 10.2. This is a floating point number. Floating with decimal numbers. Okay. Multiplied by 6.5 is equal. So 66 point. So if you want to give any decimal value, so this dot, these four buttons used for arithmetic operations, like what your addition plus minus subtraction, multiplication, for the star symbol, division. 9 division by 3. What will be the result? 9 division by 3. 9 division by 3. You will get 3 answer is equal to 3. Okay, 3.0. So this is the simple calculator. So for this, the code was written. The code was written. Uh, the code was written like this. Okay. This is the code. The total code written like this. Okay, now we will practice the total code up to this much of code written for this GUI calculator. Understood that? So see this much of code. I will explain every line by line how to, whenever we have written this much of code, we are getting this type of result. Where is this calculator? Okay, the code is here in front of you. I will explain. So in the previous class, this is PyCharm IDE. This is Visual Studio IDE. In the previous class, I have explained the code, somewhat code I have written. I have not written the total code. Okay, this is somewhat okay. I have written. I have not totally written the total code. I have not written the total code here. I have that moment. Class was over, so little bit of code I have written here. So now we will write the total code. First of all, let me explain every line of code. So here, this import tkinter as tk. This is what you know. Tkinter module. It is a module. I told you that in Python, module is what you know. Module will be used. So it has a lot of classes. Module may have a lot of classes. Every class has some methods and some attributes. Okay. So if any class, if you want to use that moment, you need to create the object. Okay. So tkinter is a module. Okay. So this module are wrapped with so many functions means whenever class concerning object oriented programming, I told you that many times, Python will support object oriented programming concepts. In object oriented programming, I hope that you all of you might have studied classes, objects, methods. Okay, how to access that classes by as a class method, otherwise as an object method. Okay, any method. Okay. So this is this code written to import this module, and this module will be called with a alias name tk. In further, I don't want to call tkinter. So if I want to call this tkinter, I will call with this alias name, nickname. So now here, this is called what? So here, this code written for what you know, this code written for a purpose to within that object created object created for this class. This tk class is part of your tkinter module. So for this, why I want to create object, this is tk is an object. That object created for which? This one. Okay. Tk means what you know. tk is a class from tk is a class from where? tk is a class of tk is a class of this one, this module. So from that module, if I want to use this class and its class methods, I need to create an object. If I want to access that class methods as object methods. So this is the one code I have written here. So that is what you know. Whenever we actually the TK, the TK, okay. Whenever this is this tk.tk, understood. So this tk.tk mostly used at the time of you want to create a main window. Okay, main window, generally main window is what? This is the main window. Okay, this is the main window. So if you want to create this main window, I told you that this window has, see, these, this is what cross symbol, close. If you want to close this app, okay, if you don't want to close, this app will be continued. This is an app, okay, this window will be continuously running. So whenever you close this, click on this button, close button, so that it will be closed. This is for what, minimize. If you want to minimize this window, simply click on this. This is minimize button. Okay, and maximize, minimize. This is what, if you want to keep your app on the taskbar. Okay, if you want to keep the, so like this, if you want to create this main window, so as I told you that this is the code tk.tk. tk.tk, I will explain whenever I create the main window. Okay, so now keep this as commentary, comment section, okay, because this is part of your where that is under main window. This is here. Whenever you want to create the main window, tk.tk. So I will explain here. So first of all, here, see what happened here. First of all, we need to create a function. We need to create a function. So before, if I want to go for any function, first let me come to here. See what happened. See here how this window, for this window, for this total window, for your entry field. Okay, this is the entry field, and these are the buttons. And for all these buttons and this entry field, the code written here, where this is the entry field. This is the code written for entry field. Okay, and okay, no issue. So, so here, try to understand what happened here. One function, we have created a function. So what is the role of this function? This is what function. I told you that in Python, def keyword mostly used to create a function, and function name is click. Okay. So every function should have a name. So inside of this event, event is a parameter. So one parameter passed inside of this event, inside of this function. That function parameter is event. Okay. So if text is equal to means what do you mean of this? Whenever is equal to is your text means whenever you click on this button, the button has what a text is what is equal to. So this is equal to will be okay. Whenever is equal to is there, so that moment this function evaluated. So by this evaluation function, okay, the expression will be evaluated. What expression? See here. What happened? Whenever you give any expression here, suppose 8 plus 2, this is the expression. So if whenever you click on this is equal to button, so that by this evaluate this function, evaluation function, it will evaluate. Okay, it will evaluate that function, and the result will be stored in this variable. Understood that? Whenever text is equal to text, this is the assignment operator. Whenever the text is equal to is equal. So means whenever you click on this button, so text is equal to what here is equal to. So this by whenever you click on this button is equal to that moment, this code, with what this is evaluate function. This evaluate function evaluates the expression, whichever is in your entry field. Entry field. This is the entry field. So entry field is being called, it is a widget. Entry field is a widget. So entry field widget, I told you that all these are command buttons and list boxes, labels, frames, combo boxes, entry field. These are called widgets, otherwise controls in programming. Okay. So generally what happens, widgets at the time of whenever you want to keep any widgets in the program, any app. So app is what, as I told you, that it may be any GUI app. GUI means graphical user interface app. Otherwise, any character user interface app. That moment you need to create, keep a somewhat code. But here we are developing a GUI based app. GUI based app means what, somewhat graphic user interface, but there is no any color here. So that moment, if you want to add the color, so where should we go here? So see, wherever we have created the main window, this is the main window. So by this three line of code, only three line of code I have written. So by this three line of code, what happened here? This this uh, this is called window. This window created. Okay. So if you want to increase this area space, so we need to here how much of space we have given 300 into 400 pixels. If you want to increase this code pixels, suppose 500 by 700, somewhat like what you 700, 700. So what happened here? That size of the window will be the size of the window will be increased. Okay, understood that. So for this, you need to run the code. Either you can run shift plus 10, F10. Either you can run the code shift plus F10 in PyCharm. PyCharm, I told you that PyCharm is what I told you that many times. So many IDEs are there for any programming language. We need to use somewhat IDEs. They are called integrated development environments to write the code, edit the code, and to run the code, compile the code. Run means compilation and execution. Okay. So, so if I want to run this code, I need to go here. Either you keep on run main. Okay. Now see what happened here. We will get that application window. That application window will be, so why? Because of no somewhat error that moment. Uh, somewhat error happened here. What that moment what happened while I was taking the code TK dot. Okay, this code was totally this code was changed. This code was changed. Where I have taken this code entry for the entry field. Okay. For this entry field, the code we have changed that moment. Entry field code changed. Okay. While by mistaken, entry field code was changed. So we need to correct this code. Okay. Entry tk dot. Why this code by mistaken? Okay, by mistaken while I was moving the mouse, the total code was changed. Okay, we need to correct this code. So here, when entry, so entry is a entry field. Here, where is that entry field? Okay, the code not executed. That's why we are not getting the, that is what that window. So we need to correct the code again, then we will get the. So as I told you that this entry field is part of your TK. What TK is what your TK interface module. So that module has so many widgets. So this entry, if you keep, whenever you keep this dot operator, you will get these all the widgets of this TK. TK, I told you that this is a alias name. This is the alias name for your tkinter module. Okay, I told you that. This tkinter module is being called with the nickname TK. So that moment, I don't want to call this TK interface every time tkinter. I don't want to call. I will call this TK. So now here, now tk dot, whenever I keep dot operator here, see, these are all called widgets. Okay, entry, frame, button. Okay, TK is a class. Okay, I told you the TK class, huh? And end both left. So here entry field I want to take entry. So within that I need to say that this entry, that entry is an widget which is part of our application window. So that application window, whenever I have written this code, create main window, that moment, this is what root. Root means what I told you that at the time of creation of main window, this code, I told you that this code, why I have written to create the main window. So TK is a class. Okay. The class is here. I told you that one code in the previous class, I have told how to create object in the Python, how to create object. Why many times I told you that why I want to how to create object in Python. Hmm. Python. Okay. So syntax is what you know. First object name. Object name is what? Any name you can keep. Suppose TK, not TK. Okay. Any somewhat TK. Hmm. This is an object created for what? TK class. This is the TK class. Okay. So for the TK class, object name, TK class. So this is the syntax. Here, this is the class and this is the object. Object as per your wish, whatever you want to keep object name, keep your name, my name, it doesn't matter. Okay. So here, object creation. First, create object is equal to class name. Class name in Python brackets. Okay. So class name is what? This is the class name. So object means any object name. If you keep my name is what, so it is an object for which class? TK class. Okay. So this TK class is part of what? This TK. TK is what? Your tkinter. I have given a short name for this tkinter. I have given a short name for tkinter. Okay. So TK class is part of your tkinter. Okay. So now this total code means return to initialize the main window. To initialize the main window. So I have stored this total code in a variable. So every time if I want to call any attribute of that attribute for that window, so simply I will call this, okay, root dot title, root dot geometry, root dot configure. Okay, so suppose if I don't want to root dot see root dot how many this is what config. Config is what you know, it is a function. So if I want to use config here for any suppose background color, any BG, see here. What happened? BG equal to, if I want to give any color, so simply background color, you can give orange like this. Okay. Okay. Next, root dot, again dot. So that moment, these are all title, geometry, configure. These are the attributes of that window. Okay. So if I want to resizable. Resizable means what, resizable. This attribute I want to use here. So resizable is what, here. If I don't want to resize the application window. So here, false. In Python, false is a Boolean value. Okay. Will be used for, okay. To, here width is false and height also false. So what do you mean of this? So that moment what happened? That window will not be resizable. Understood that? So here little bit of code. Here that entry is a variable. It stores the this total widget tk.entry. So I need to say here root. Root means who is this Manasa Narayana Rao Peta? Manasa, may I know your details, please? Manasa, can you introduce yourself? You are attending Narayan Rao Peta. Very nice. I think it is near to Narsarao Peta. If you don't want to reveal your details, no any issue. You can attend the classes. This is an open platform. Generally, the classes will be conducted 3 days of a week under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. 3 days free classes every week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at sharply at 8 p.m. in June. Already I have shared that Zoom class link. So that is open to all of you whenever you want to attend the class. Okay. So now no issue, Manasa, if you don't want to reveal yourself, there is no any problem. Now come to the class. So entry field. So entry field, the code for the entry field, okay. Tk.entry, why root here? Because this entry field is this entry field is part of your application window. Application window is being called my application window, that this code, okay, this code tk.tk. Tk means what? Tk dot means your tkinter module. Like module is being called with nickname tk, and tk, this is called, this is a class. Okay, this is a class. Root.tk.tk. So this code, this is the what short letters I have used here. So I need to use same short letters here everywhere. That's why it is giving error. Okay. So tk.tk. So this total, I told you that this code written here to initialize the main window. So main application window. So that is after it will be called as root. It is your decision, whatever the name you want to keep here. Root, somewhere you can find app. Okay. So if you keep root, so then after every widget. So whether it may be the button, entry field, okay, all that buttons, whatever, every widget, we need to write root. If I change this tk.tk, for this, I have written like what, AP, suppose AP. So every time, every title, geometry, configuration, all we need to take app. Okay. But root, okay. Now, so Then after this, only these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code written for what purpose? These 5 lines of code written for what purpose? These to create the main. This is line code. This line, main line. This is the main code written for to create the main window. These are title, geometry, config, title to give us name of that application window, simple calculator. This is the um, pixels for height and width. Configure background color if you want to give, because I told you that this is the GUI application, graphical user interface application. Resizable means false. False means width and height will not be allowed to resize that application window. If you give true and true, so anybody can resize the application window. These lines of code written for main window. Okay. Next, for every widget. Widget means all the components, whether it may be text box, list box, combo box, any entry field, buttons, labels, frames, all they are called. Generally in Windows applications, we will be able to see a lot of widgets. Okay. So entry, this line of code written to create a entry field. Okay. So what is the code? This entry field, I told you that entry field is part of, okay, TK interface module. Okay, entry is control here. Okay. Now if you take, so we need to say that this entry field is part of your application window, that is called root. So then after entry, if you enter any value there, that will be font size Arial, font style is Arial, and size 20. Okay. So now then after we need to pack, use pack function here. What is the use of pack function? What do you mean of this pack? Means if you want to keep the control on the widget, pack is very compulsory. Okay. Then after fill ticket at both. Okay. For what? To fill what purpose? If you want to fill, uh, that is what your C. Like what this is what X. X means horizontal. Okay. And Y means pad, Y means vertical. Okay. If you want to keep somewhat space over the widget, you can use these pad iPad X and pad Y. Okay. So this it gives what somewhat space over the widget. Okay. Horizontally, this is a horizontally, this is a vertically. So pack is very important. If you don't want to keep the pack, that widget will not be included in your application window. So next what? Button frame. Button frame. So let us see somewhat. So now if there is no any error, I want to run this code, then tk.entry field. Where is this? This entry field is where? Okay. So here entry field. So let me check if any create main window. Why do this code? No need here. Already we have written the code for entry field. Okay. So let me check. Everything is okay. So we will run the code. This is okay. Next function. This is the import tick imported as a module, alias name. One function created, click. Function name is click. Event is what? At a parameter passed here. Okay, everything is okay. Now else, there's no any error here. Okay. And create main window, and then so this is extra code we have written, copy paste. By copy paste, I think so. Remove this code. Okay. So this is somewhat next. How to create object in Python. This is create main window root. Okay, this is okay. Everything is okay. Next entry field is okay. Button frame, buttons, main loop. Create buttons. Okay, run the loop. Root dot main loop. Oh, this is okay. Now you remove the total code from here. No need. Okay, this is duplicated. Code is duplicated. So code once. No. So if I want to run this code, let me check. So then we need to get what our code must be run. So that moment, so see what happened here. So now see what happened. I want to explain this. Where is this? See, now this is what happened here. One application window created here. So it is looking somewhat very colorful. Understood that orange color, because why orange color? As I told you, this is what this is GUI based application. GUI based application means at the starting time I told you that applications generally we will be able to see a lot of Windows applications with this type of close button, minimize button. Okay, so like this watching. So why we are getting like this? It is not appearing here. So why? Because that moment I have where is that code I have written, that is false. The window I have, this is false due to resizable. So resizable, it can't be resizable. If I keep this as true, so that moment what true, and so let us see what happened here. True, okay, that moment. So again I need to write the code. Again I need to rerun Python, stop on. So here see here. Now this is what you can increase the size. Increase means what that is what maximize and minimize, maximize. Okay, whenever you change this resizable true, so you can resize. Okay, if you want to change this color as yellow color, otherwise blue, let us see that background color. Okay, you go and run this as stop and run. So this is, you're getting this type of color. So all of this, what at only this much of code, I have written these lines of code to create the window only. So if you want to do some word expressions like what 7 multiplied by 5 is equal to 35. This is called expression. What is the C is used for clear this? This is the entry field. I told you that entry field is will be used to enter any value. So here 5 and divided by 2. Now this is called one expression, not equation. Equation what? Whenever you keep is equal to. So the result will be suppose here, and then 5 by 2 is equal to what? 2.5. Now this is called equation, not expression. 5 by 2 is equal to, whenever is equal to is there, that will be called an equation, not expression. Now this is called expression. Now if you want to evaluate, if you want to get the value of that expression, so is equal to we need to use here. Whenever you click on this is equal to, you will get this is the result. Okay, if you want to clear this entry field, click on this C. So all these are what? 0 1 4 7 8 5 2, a point, decimal point is equal to 963 divided by multiplication. These all C, these all are buttons, but this is only entry field. So how many widgets we have used in this calculator? GUI simple calculator, how many widgets, some buttons, many buttons we have used one entry field. For that, we have written the code here. Up to this much of code for your application window. And this the function I told you that to like what you see. What happened? This line of code, it is used to get the text whenever you click on any window, any button, whenever you click on that button. So it will collect the whatever the number text written on that button, and that will be stored in this variable. If text is equal to this assignment operator is equal to that moment, what happened? Whenever you click on the is equal to button, by this evaluation function, that this function evaluates the expression you kept in entry field. Okay. And so if you will not enter proper, if you will not enter proper, like what you know, it's for if you have entered wrong input, if you have entered any wrong input, so that moment what happened? This error message will be displayed. So this code written inside of the exceptions try block, this code written for try block. If any error is here, so any error we are expecting that the code must be written try block, and this except block in Python will handle the errors. If you feed the code properly inside of the entry field, if you have written the code properly here, okay, proper, if you have entered proper input, there is no any problem. If you have not properly entered wrong in, if you have entered wrong input, so this except block will handle the errors. So already I have told in Python starting classes, try and except blocks will be used to handle the errors, exceptions. Okay. Then after, whenever, if your text is equal to C, so whenever you click on this C, so now text will be collected whenever you click on this button. C means this C will be used for to clear the entry field. For that's called entry dot. Entry means what? Entry is your entry field name. So for this, I have written the code is where entry. So this is the entry, the total code written part of your this variable. So I don't want to use this code again and again. This total code, I don't need to use this. Okay, just I will call this entry field. Entry field, this code will be, this total code will be, if I want to use further, I will call that total code with entry. So here, see, whenever you click on the C button, so entry dot delete, total entry field will be deleted. Okay, from, so 10 minutes are there. Within the 10 minutes, I want to explain everything here. And then we will meet on next, means today is Friday. I will come on Saturday. Okay, we will discuss the total code. I will try to explain the total code one by one here within these 10 minutes. Okay. So whenever C is plus pressed here, whenever you press on this C, so means what happened? The total code in the entry field will be deleted. Okay. So next, if elif, otherwise elif, already we have studied if else conditions. So that is, however, I want to explain if else, if elif else. So if this condition is okay, okay. If this condition is not satisfied, so next this condition will be checked. So if it is not okay, next this will be checked. Okay. So finally, if there is no any, you are not clicking over C, and so finally what happened that moment, whatever you insert, okay, whatever you insert, that will be taken and stored in this text variable. Okay, text variable. So up to this word, somewhat code written under function. The function name is click. So every function, I told you that in Python, every function should have a name. Okay. This event parameter, what is the role of this event parameter? Okay. So tomorrow also we will conduct a class to clearly understand all this code, everything. Okay. Why this for loop used here. Okay. Inside of for loop, one more for loop used inside of this is the outer for loop. This is the inner for loop. And this is the main loop to run the main application window. This until user this until user terminates, application window continue, app window will be continued, app window runs continuously until user terminates. Here, until user, this is the button, close button. Until user will not click on this close button, continuously this application will be run until user will not click on this close button. So that's why this root.main loop, this function runs the app. Okay. So first of all, let me come to every one by one code. See what happened here. To get C get means to get the character get. What character? Okay. These are all characters. Okay. Over buttons. Okay. So whenever you click on any button, that character, the text will be captured and stored in this text. So this line of code written up to this. Okay. Next, to evaluate the expression. Okay. So what is the here? This is called your string function. This is called your string function. What is the role of string function? In the previous classes also, I have explained what is the role of string function. String function will be used, okay, to make anything. So if you enter anything, so to convert that as a string, okay. If you enter any number, that will convert that value into as a string. The string function will be used here. So generally what happens whenever we enter any value, when you click on any button, so whenever see, suppose if I have clicked on this button, so this button has a value 2. So that 2 will be collected and stored in this text variable. Okay. So now that is displayed here. Delete function used for what purpose? Entry dot delete. I told you that any value will be deleted. So, okay. Insert to insert the value. To insert the value. So any question from the class, we will discuss. Any question? So time is somewhat, I think the time will be closed. This app, the total code, as I told you that this is a graphical user into GUI based application created for GUI based calculator, simple calculator, advanced, not advanced calculator. If you want to change this color, if you want to change this color as any color, you can change yellow. Okay. There is no any problem here. So if you want to run this, so this is the, so very interesting how the total code. So in Python, we can do very beautiful GUI based applications. Okay, Windows, we can develop Windows applications very well from, even though in Python we can develop the gaming, 2D game, two-dimensional game, 3D games. As I told you that Python will be used, it is a general purpose language, can be used to develop so many, like what your desktop applications, mobile applications, also in mobile applications, gaming, 2D and 3D games. And it is being mostly used in AI, also artificial intelligence for your machine learning, deep learning, and data science. For the data science also, as I told you that pandas mostly use this library will be used for data science. And for gaming, pygame library can be used. So NumPy, SciPy, so many libraries are there. Okay, for if you want to develop Windows sorry, websites. So for the Django, Flask, so many libraries are there. If you want to develop that is what web-based applications. Okay, and Python also can be used as a backend. Okay, it can be used as a backend in the place of Java. Okay, so any Manasa, do you want to ask any question? Because the class is going to be terminated, and we will meet on next Saturday. I mean, today is 25, no? Tomorrow I will meet on Saturday. I will explain the rest of the code. Ah, every day we will go one by one. Okay. Otherwise, you will be very confused why the code written. Okay, we are here. So see what happened here. Whenever I run this simple issue is going on here. See if you rerun, stop and rerun, what happened here? Try to understand. So stop and rerun. So two windows you are seeing here. One is this small window, and one is this window, main window. So for this, what you have written the code for two windows. That's why you are able to see two window. Three lines of code you have written here, up from here to this. Okay. So one application window created. This is the another window. So you remove this code and you delete this code. So now what happened? Only one window is here. Now you run this code, so you will get only one. So here only one application window, understand? So if you create many windows, so suppose here, and if you write the code, same if you copy this code and you write, suppose if you copy this code and if you copy and you paste,